Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna and this morning we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. Good morning, Kristin.
Good morning, Joanna.
Now, Kristin, there are these little crafty insects, okay?
That's a good way to put it.
That normally we don't think about this time of year.
That's right.
But you say that this is like the best time to inspect for bagworms.
I know that I kind of wanted to kick off the talk with a little bit about bagworms, just to kind of get everybody's mindset right. But, you know, bagworms, we generally get more calls about in the spring of the year. So, like you said, it's kind of a hidden type of insect that we don't generally think about in the winter. So, bagworms, they're like the best architects. I mean, they really take on they consume like the needles off of trees, you know, we're talking about evergreens, or that they, you know, can even, you know, consume off of deciduous trees. But it seems like the evergreens in our backyard are the ones we're most concerned about. But basically they'll feed on the plant and then they'll make their bags out of it, and then they keep, you know, growing in their bag. I mean, it's really fascinating, but it's detrimental sometimes for our landscape trees and shrubs, especially if we cherish those plants that can add value to our homes and things like that. So I wanted to kind of talk about the female plant or lays their eggs in the bags. So a lot of times we don't think about it in the winter time, but they can still be there. And then whenever the springtime, you know, it's nice and warm and the temperature's perfect, then they come out and then they start, you know, consuming a new bag, and, you know, the life cycle just kind of continues on in that front. So if you can, right now is a good time to scout for bagworms. And a lot of times we miss the bagworms because we think it's a part of the plant. You know, it kind of looks like an ornament or it looks like a pine cone. Sometimes they can be fairly small and then they can grow in a little bit of a mass. So the plants that you really want to check for are anything that's evergreen. So arborvitae is one that we use a lot here in our landscape. Even Leland cypress, I mean, it's one that we use quite a bit. You can also think of other types of spruces or pines that it's actually going to feed off of and cause a lot of issues. So anything that's evergreen, whether it's tree or shrub, you need to kind of look for scouting of bagworms this time of year. And so anytime when you're looking for bagworms, you have to really inspect it, like all over the plant. Most of the time, they're not just on the top or the top part of the branch, they're mainly on the underside. Sometimes they're really, really small in size. They can get up to 2 inches as far as their length goes when they get more into the mature stage, but they can get really small. If it's a tree that gets rather tall, it can be really, really hard to even scout for those. So you may, if it's a taller type evergreen tree, you might want to go ahead and think about a chemical control later on for application. But whenever you're scouting, go ahead and get some hand pruners out. Make sure that they're sharp, and if you see anything, just go ahead and clip them off. It's better than hand picking it off because sometimes you can do a little bit of damage about this particular time in the winter time. But each time that you remove it, you're removing the population down because there's a lot of eggs. They said that the female lays between 200, 300 eggs and they're left over in the bag. You might not feel a caterpillar or, you know, like the actual caterpillar itself, but the eggs will, you know, come out in mass quantities.
And they can grow quickly. And I don't know if people have had, because I know you get a lot of calls with people alarmed because there's so many.
Yes.
And I think you're right. I think it's sometimes hard to see because maybe they start on the back of that shrub and you're not like going all the way around it. And you wouldn't think 1 or 2 could cause an outbreak of population, but it really can.
Yes, it absolutely can. So if you can do some scouting right now, like when it's on a prettier day, and just try to remove those, like I said, just take some pruning shears or something and clip those off. It's better to burn them if you can.
As I say, you don't want to throw them in your trash can.
Right, and a lot of times people will even think, you know, hey, if I just put it on the ground, it's still off the plant, but it's going to crawl back up. So eventually, whenever it gets to that point. So just go ahead and, you know, put them in a bag and then just go ahead and burn them later. I know sometimes people talk about squishing them and stuff like that, but it's just better just to go ahead and take care of them that way.
And Kristin, I know people say, well, I would just rather spray them, but that bag kind of protects them.
It does, yeah. Like I said, they're the best architect. I mean, that bag really does protect them all throughout their growth. And so we have an informational publication here at the Extension office. If anybody's interested, they can pick it up here at your local Extension office. And it's just really handy to have that information at your fingertips.
All right, Kristin, we'll get out and enjoy those nice days. Scout for bagworms now. And if you have questions, make sure to contact your local Extension office for more information. We appreciate you watching the Farm and Home Show and hope you have a great day.